Okay, so here we go. Gonna start off just a basic shape. I really kind of liked already this big, medium, and small. You have the very, very thin torso and then this big skirt, kind of a medium head. I like the straights versus the curves. I like what's going on. You have this very thin body versus this poofy kind of skirt type of thing. I think the contrast there works of how thin that is versus how thick it gets. And then playing around, again, I liked these big eyes. I wanted to play around with that a bit, make sure that the eyes are really standing out. Sometimes, if they're just that medium eye, it looks fine, but I kind of wanted something a bit more playful, a bit, more expressive, something bright and just really in your face type of thing, kind of a very exuberant type of girl. Going in, because she's kind of this girl made out of flowers, I wanted some vines here and there. I've got this big shape up top going in for her, not her hair, but kind of that flower up at the top. And I wanted kind of a dandelion. I didn't want, this cultured flower. I wanted kind of a wild, just playful flower, those yellow dandelions, and they're just, puffing out there. And I wanted that kind of feel to it, just very kind of unkempt. And it felt very young to me. So trying to go in and get just some of that feel to it. And I liked how, I like using that as kind of the hair, the flower for the hair thing works pretty well. And then just this nice bud face underneath it, which is kind of neat. Really going in and just kind of trying to push that, make sure that was the initial thought, was this head and this hair, this flower coming up here. So I'm going to pay a lot of attention to that right at the beginning to make sure that that's really singing. Now that I know that that's skirt and the hands and the feet, like I've got all those in place and I know kind of what's going on there. Even if it doesn't have all the details, I kind of already can see it. So I can go in and put those details in. I want to make sure that I push the contrast of the leaves right under the flower so that the flower top sticks up. This would be one that would be really fun to color up and get that popping dandelion color up in there. And then I wanted to break up this skirt with some petals and things like that. This is one where I actually went fairly uniform instead of all over the place. Each of them are slightly different, but not crazy different, so that it feels kind of like, just a pattern type of thing, a skirt, a garment, rather than, just big flower or big leaf, little leaf, big petal, little, I wanted it to feel kind of pattern-esque on this one for that purpose. Going in on the legs now. Now I'll start to highlight just those few vines to break it up. Just break up the feet. I have this big foot shape and I want, these vines to just wrap around a little, not that wrapped around the entire thing, just wrapped around here and there, or like they're growing up around her and just kind of following their own track, very organic. And I wanted the spaces in between them, and then there's triangles in between, or these bigger spaces in between, so that it was all very real and organic. Even with these petals, as uniform as they are, they're each kind of just a little individual and a little pushed and a little different, letting my pencil kind of walk through it on each of those. And I kind of wanted this idea, like I saw a girl in the store the other day. I was with my wife and she had on a tutu, and she was in the store with her mom and she was wearing a tutu, and I loved it. I loved how that's totally cool for, you're 3 years old and I'm wearing my tutu all day today. I love that innocence and I love that energy and joy that this girl had. And I kind of wanted to kind of copy a bit of that, just that joy of it. Like, hey, I'm just wearing my tutu today because it's a tutu day. And I dig that. I probably put off the flower too long that she's holding. You see, I had to go in for that stem and make it really dark, or else it wouldn't be visible, because I had already darkened up the skirt so much. If I were to do it again, I'd make sure that I had that in place a little bit earlier. I wanted here to get the puffy dandelion as well as the yellow one on top of her head. So just going in and the suggestion of some of these, wisps that you blow away, and that's kind of what she's holding. Now just going in, darkening up those little things, trying to get, just a bit of differentiation on those petals, get a hint of some shading going in there so that it feels layered, it feels thick, and then kind of give her some pigtails, maybe 4 of these little petals come down as kind of some hair, give her just slightly more feminine than just that poof up at the top of her head. Shading in her cheeks a little bit, going in, but yeah, just those final details and having a lot of fun with her. She looks all right. I like her. Let's color in those vines just a little bit to push them away from the rest of the foot. And there you go. Thanks for watching today's drawing. Be sure to like, share, and subscribe, and leave a comment at the bottom if there's something specific you want to see drawn, and maybe it'll make it into a future video.